take you to a place. And open up the door. Gonna take you to a place.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. It's my turn in the hot seat now, and we have got quite a discussion for you. As you can see, this is my exercise for the day, walking all the way to the end. We've got lots of chairs here to fill. I would like to begin by introducing to the stage Patrick Chalhoub, CEO of Chalhoub Group. Also joining us, Mudassir Sheikha, co-founder and CEO of Careem, who I believe has just made it, so thank you so much for joining us. Sharif Bashara, CEO of American Hospital Dubai. Hani Weiss, CEO, Majid Al Fatim Retail. Hello. And finally, Dr. Mohammed Al-Reda, Director of Health Informatics and Smart Health, Dubai Health Authority. How are you?
I'm Andrew. Nice to meet you.
So we are going to be talking about all things AI as I wait for everyone to get seated comfortably, and how AI technology can impact and help business.
So you want us to speak?
Now, of course I want you to speak. This is your turn. It's your turn in the spotlight.
So again, I think that when we speak about AI, we shouldn't forget what we do and where, for whom we are doing it. I think that we have to remember, for us, we are luxury retailers. We want to delight our customers. We want to connect with our customer. And when we have AI, it will only help us to enhance and to do better our job and make it in a very meaningful way. When we are trying to bring these luxury experiences to our customers everywhere, it resonates very well with AI, because AI will give us a lot of the capabilities in order to delight our customers, in order to service and to be relevant to our customers, if we can do it. And so therefore, it's for us a fantastic tool which we have to use, but it's not enough to have the tool. We also need to have the competences and the people with it.
How is that customer experience evolving? You know, what are the retail dynamics, and how is it affecting new customers, the use of AI?
For us, it's always to try to listen, understand, connect with our customer, and really bring him the best, being into the way we are editing our range and our products, be it in terms of experiences which resonate to him. So how are we going to capture it? Obviously, with getting a lot of those data, trying to analyze those data, to analyze them as fast as we can in order to make it happen. And therefore, with the use of AI, we can absolutely get a much faster insight, much faster analysis, and much faster proactive action, not only reaction to what the customer wants. And then we have to adjust and to adapt ourselves. We have to adjust the way we will be editing the brands. We have to adjust the location which we are putting it. We have to adjust into seeing what is meaningful for our customer, having the right product at the right moment. And all of this, AI will help us and support us a lot to have it quickly, and to be very meaningful for our customers.
So data analytics is key to the business at the moment, and I guess that will help you make smarter decisions.
Yeah, I mean, it will make us take our decision based a lot of data, of right data, but it will make us, it's not enough to have it. It's also meaning that we need to make sure that we are empowering the people to take those decisions and to make those decisions, and we have those capabilities well in hand.
I'd like to bring in Honeywise CEO Majid Al Fatim Retail at this point, because I believe you have one of the biggest analytics team in the region.
Indeed. Okay, so Majid Fatim, acutely understand the impact of this AI into the business and how we can, become much better technology equipped in order for us to, through the data, to become, much more into better decision making, enabling our customers with better experience. So we have started this journey almost 5 years ago, and we have equipped ourselves with the best-in-class talent. Coming back to Patrick, we can't do it without talent. So we have more than 300 analysts, data scientists in our offices, helping us to develop our platforms and to become much more AI-enabled for better decision-making, always to delight our customers.
How have you seen your customer landscape change over the last couple of months? Because it's very different, especially when we look at the grocery industry to traditional retail and electronics. What have been the challenges for you and the needs, and how your customers have changed?
It's amazing because through AI, we had this leverage to immediately understand the rapid customer change in behaviors. And what we have seen during this pandemic is that customers in the first initial stage, they were rapidly changing habits because they were going for more of stock uplifting because of the panic. It's something new, something unique. So through the AI, we've been able immediately to answer this customer behavior change by immediately adjust to the way that we replenish our stocks. And if you have noticed during the pandemic, we had literally no out of stock. All the products were there on shelves, were presented to our customers thanks to the AI, because we immediately understand where the customers are going to, which products are the most important. So, for example, I can quote in the beginning, we had a huge impact on the soap, liquid soaps in general, and all the detergent materials, so the growth was phenomenal. And through the AI, we were able to improve our ordering, get better supply chain, and better products, faster products to the shelves. So what happened is that customers, they realized. So then we moved from the panic buying into now I'm going to, which is much more of healthier lifestyle. I want to get the best of the fruits, the vegetables, and what have you in order for me to have a better life. So we were able also to cater for them for the unique opportunities that we have. The other thing is that because of the working from home, the learning from distance, we were able immediately also to offer to our customers all the needed equipment, material in order for them to build this office in home, or as the minister was saying, probably everyone should have almost school in home, as will.i.am also referred to. And the last thing, which is now, okay, how can I stay fit? Because now I'm staying more than 2 weeks at home, more than 3 weeks, and the kids are around all the time. So, okay, I'm eating better, but then how do I stay fit? Then we see the surge in the sale of the sports equipment, gardening equipment, swimming pools. So we have sold the amount of swimming pools in 6 weeks more than a year, for instance. People were there, and we were there for them through AI, enabling our data, and through the data analytics, getting the right products for our customers available online and offline.
You mentioned working from home practices there, and I think one particular company where that didn't impact as much would have been Kareem. And Mudassir Sheikha, thank you so much for joining us. And in actual fact, the pandemic accelerated parts of your business, in particular the super app that was being rolled out and developed.
Yeah, so I think we had been saying this for the last couple of years, that if you look at the broader region outside of places like Dubai that have very decent infrastructure, the offline world has not traditionally been efficient. The offline world has been full of friction, has not been reliable, and it ends up taking a lot of mind share and time from people. And our view has been that if we can become that offline to online bridge for people to consume services they need from the offline world through becoming a super app, we can actually help people become more efficient, we can help societies become more productive and drive economic growth. So the super app had been in the works for the last 2 years, and fortunately the timing could not have been better, that we were able to launch the super app, get multiple use cases on the super app that people need on a daily basis, even more so in this pandemic. And through the use of AI, because when you're putting a lot of services on one app, there is a discovery challenge that you have to go through. So you almost have to predict that if a person opens the super app at this time in the morning, they need these services versus some other services, and you have to constantly adapt the services that you present to them based on who they are, based on the time of the day, and based on their prior history and the history of other people using the services. So the super app has been out now for almost a couple of months, and we are at very healthy adoption levels, and we're seeing more and more transactions happen through the super app through this crisis time.
One of the constants throughout all of our businesses here on the stage is data analytics, and with that comes a big issue of privacy and security. How do you ensure privacy and security when it comes to personal information?
Yeah, so the answer really is a function of 3 components. So one, naturally, as a digital-first business, data is one of the most important things that we have. We don't have factories, we don't have many other things, but data is sort of the fuel that drives our business. So the 3 elements that we focus on, one is we just want to make sure that we have the best security team that can be hired and brought to the region. So we probably have one of the larger security teams in the region that is making sure that all our systems, all the data is safe and sound. Second, it's a question of the infrastructure and the systems that you use to secure data. So most of our data resides in cloud, along with a lot of security hardware and software that ensures the protection of that data. And then lastly, it's a function of processes that you use to manage data. And over the last 3 years, we have done a lot of work to ensure that the access to data is managed externally, as well as internally. The access is very, very tight, and audit controls are in place to make sure that the privacy and the data protection is super sound.
Can I add a point? I think that in many countries they adopted certain rules we adhered to the GDPR rule of the EEC immediately. I think that the data, which is very important, apart all the security and the safety which we have to take care, is really to respect that those data pertain to our customer and to our user, and they are really respected. So we have not only adhered to it, but we also have upscaled a lot all our code of ethics and made sure that we have 100% of our employees totally trained and adhering to it and adhering to the respect of the privacy of the data for the people.
Well, from the retail sector, as we move into the health sector again, I mean, there may be a few more fears when it comes to our health and certain information that we're sharing with those sectors. And I would at this point like to bring in Sharif Bashara. Can you please explain to me, what impact the security angle has on your particular sector?
Let's just start the story from the beginning. I believe if we don't have a proper and strong healthcare system within Dubai and Emirate overall, not any one of us will come and sit here. I remember the first meeting that we attended at the Disaster and Crisis Committee, and how all the private sectors really got surprised by the government that they're utilizing the AI. They gave us the predictions and very clear on how many cases will come to Dubai and UAE overall. How about the consumables and equipment that we need? How many ICU and critical bed that we require? So very simple. I believe that Dubai, from first day, they are ready for that pandemic. And it's all about the vision and planning. And it's not new. The artificial intelligence is not just we discovered its benefit with the healthcare or for the government after recently. No, it happened a long time ago when you check the budget of UAE and Dubai overall and how they invest on the AI and innovations. That's bring us the guidance for many of the private hospitals. We in American hospital, how we invest on artificial intelligence in radiology. So when we start the pandemic and the COVID-19 attack us and the number and the volume of patient required chest X-ray, okay, immediately our capacity increased 5 times. So when you implement the AI, there is no threat for your people. It's not a fear that people will lose their job. No, we increase their capacity, we increase their efficiency. We start giving more time to our people and our physicians to give more into patient care and take care of our people.
So I believe that by 2030, it's been suggested that 33% of medical jobs and clinicians will be cut from posts, but you're going to not necessarily get rid of those jobs, you're going to move them into other areas.
That's great. By 2030, 40% of our clinician work can be done by AI. 33% for non-clinician work can be done by AI. That doesn't mean that I will say, thanks so much, our physician, there is no place. No. You have to, once you have a vision and a plan for the future, you should have a plan for your people, how to train your people, how to let your people adapt to the new technology and increase the capacity and the efficiency for the hospital overall. Right now, during the pandemic and COVID, our robotic surgery, all the word intuitive for the Da Vinci Xi, they got surprised that how American hospital or how's Dubai, because right now we're talking about Dubai, we're not talking about the private sector, how Dubai operate 105 cases on patients during the pandemic, on patients with extremely high risk, with 0 infections, 0 complications, and all the robotic program on the world stopped. So that's a great success for our country, I believe.
I mean, you had success with the Da Vinci surgeon. What are the challenges? And this is something we can extend an invitation to Dr. Mohammed Al-Reda to talk about this as well. How difficult is it to not just convince the public, but to convince surgeons that AI technology can go into the theater with them?
I think We have had multiple proof of concepts in the past few periods, specifically working with the Dubai Health Accelerator team in association with the Dubai Future Foundation. We've had multiple proof of concepts which, alhamdulillah, were successful in convincing surgeons. Surgeons tend to be a tough crowd to work with. However, they're nice people, I assure you. When it comes to convincing them that this is concerned with more patient safety, better outcome, better efficiency, I think they go with the flow there, and they turn out to be champions of certain technologies as well. Our challenge was, how do we put the right data, the right analysis for the leadership of Dubai? So here was the role of the analytics, our policies, our infrastructure, not only the pipelines that are under the ground beneath us here, but also the infrastructure, the data packaging. How do we put that into context? Because when we're speaking to our leaders, we're speaking about advice. We're speaking about information that has to make sense, rather than packaged data in Excel sheets or in whatever other wonderful format we had. So I think surgeons were a good crowd to work with during this time. I think doctors as well. We are now seeing a lot of artificial intelligent tools being deployed not only in Dubai Health Authority and not only in the private sector, but also around Dubai. I think we've seen some good proof of concepts with good results that have evolved into being our day-to-day bread and butter technology.
How are we going, well, first off, how important are public-private partnerships, and how will we see them evolve as we move forward?
I think you will, in the UAE, see a lot of such panels where you see the private provider sitting next to the regulator in one panel, and the regulator would say hats off to the private sector and thank you for being part of the Dubai healthcare scene and the UAE healthcare scene, and standing with us in, I mean, Her Excellency Reem Al-Hashmi spoke about solidarity to come through Expo. We've seen solidarity on the ground working together with the private sector. It was through them and with them that we can achieve what we have achieved so far.
I'm going to move down the line very quickly as we wrap this session up, and I would like to ask each of you individually what you think what is your most profound reflection, what you've learned from the pandemic and applying AI to your business?
I think, and it has been said this morning, you have to expect the unexpected, and you have to be prepared for the unexpected. And how to be prepared is by becoming extremely agile, remaining extremely agile, being very empowering for your teams, making sure that they have the ability of taking the decision, but also the right tools in order to take the decision. You cannot be sure of what could happen and how it will happen, but if you have those capabilities, if you have this agility, if you have this trust, if you have those mindset of empowering, I think that the humankind has a lot of intelligence in order to, a lot of ingenuity could be deployed in order to make it happen and to do it. So really keep this agility going on, and making sure that we grasp it in time of challenges, but also in times of opportunity which could arise, and making sure that it happens.
Thank you.
Look, I think one of my biggest learnings has been that every situation has both opportunities and challenges. And in the first half of this crisis, we were looking at the challenges and trying to overcome the challenges. But since we started looking at the opportunities from the crisis, we found so many, the entire mindset is different. And all of a sudden, it looks like an incredible opportunity to do many of the things that we'd wanted to do for a while. So if we can all start becoming a little bit more positive, then the world starts falling in place.
Attract, train, retain the good people. During the pandemic, we are in American hospital, the full management team, we decided that we should invest more in our people. We should attract more of the people and the good skills. If we don't have a proper people, they will never brought me an idea to partner with Cerner and AWS to set up the first artificial intelligence research lab within the region. This lab, we can say clearly that we are an American hospital, we are ready for any pandemic, for any phases, second, third phase, whatever. Our people work from now how to get ready for the expo. I know we are not a government entity, but American Hospital as a part within the healthcare sector, I should be ready. What the volume of visitors, what the nationalities, ages, what they might require if anything goes wrong at that time. This is a role in American Hospital, and we should do it. That's what we learn.
Thank you.
Allow me just to say one thing first. It's most importantly is our data. So today at Majid Al Futtaim, we hold the data of almost 18 million customers in our golden customer records. And this has enabled us to fast track many of the personalization for our customers. The other thing is that we do share data with Smart Dubai and many other authorities for smarter good. And this is something really important. Why I'm saying important? Because it will help us to serve better our customers, tackle certain health issue which is really needed from the data that we have. Today, every month we generate more than 1 billion touch points of data through our all online apps. And this has helped us to have a better decision making, react faster to our customers, and provide them what they want. For instance, in our mobile app or through the grocery online, now we prioritize according to the customer needs. So when I go to the Carrefour app, for instance, I got the products that I'm looking for versus you and him and this. So personalization is helping better consumption, less time wasting for our customers, and making sure we help them also to choose whatever they want. Now imagine with me also, through AI, we are able to push substitution. For instance, today, our level of substitution rejection is less than 5%. That means for every item which is missing, we are able to cater for 95% of the customer needs and wants. And this is how AI is enabling us to get better, smarter, and to cater and anticipate the customer needs. And one last thing I want to say here, that we at Majid Al Futtaim, because of the importance of AI and data, we have, through the Leadership Institute, we have taken all our employees, more than 37,000 employees, into a special training on AI. They all attended the training. They all understand the importance of data, and even the frontliner at the cashier line understand what this click will bring to the greater good of our customers. And this is something I'm really proud of. The other thing is that Majid Al Futtaim today sits on the board of Dubai AI Ethics, and we are the only company which is local, non-tech company, sitting on this board for the ethical use of data for a greater good.
Thank you, Hani. Finally, Dr. Mohammed Al-Reda.
Well, I'm very happy to hear the importance of data and the importance of the analysis that data should go through in order for us to achieve better business decisions and to arrive at efficiency. And I was very proud. There was a moment actually here in this very place where His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Hamad bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Crown Prince of Dubai, said, "It is because of the work that has been done on the ground, I can take the right decisions." Because of the importance that he believes in, that data brings to his round table when he's sitting around with the Director Generals, their excellencies, they can take these decisions in order to keep the economy going, keep the healthcare of the people in good shape, as well as what is next. We always have to have that future foresight, استشراف للمستقبل يكون عندنا, through the data that's presented in front of us. And that's through algorithms can be achieved really. And I would like to encourage not only retailers, mashallah, the example that I have next to me here from Majid Al Futtaim, the focus on data analytics, hiring the right talent, expanding that team. I mean, it's easy to expand your real estate department, but it's very difficult to expand or to even ask for budget to expand your data analysis team. And these guys, this kind of talent is very, very rare these days. I encourage you to invest not only in attracting them, but also developing them. I think this pandemic has shown us that the importance of talent is more important than the technology or the tool that we have. Yes, we can put the right policy, put the right infrastructure, have the right governance. However, without the right talent on board, we will not be able to make it.
Thank you, Dr. Alreda, and all our guests. But you're not going anywhere just yet, because I believe we can open up the floor and invite some of you, our audience, to ask questions. Now, please remember our health and safety issues. The microphones are in the central aisles. Please don't touch the microphones if you are getting up to ask a question. You are free to remove your mask when you ask, and again, put it back on afterwards. Do we have any questions? It's very dark out there. Who wants to be the first? At our first big conference here at the World Trade Center, as Dubai reopens, to ask the first question. I think, yes, we've got one here coming. Thank you, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. I have one question for each one of the expert panel. What do you have seen as a revenue before on a bigger level, so that it gives a good picture on how it has evolved your business from the revenue point of view? What was it before, and what is it after the pandemic or during the pandemic? Thank you.
I'm so sorry, is it possible just to repeat the last bit of your question? Just simplify the end of it, please.
Yes. As a revenue point of view, what was the revenue, say, X, and after or during the pandemic is revenue Y? So we can see how each of the industry has impacted.
Was that revenue? How that's changed
yes,
at the beginning of the pandemic to the end of it?
X
How has the pandemic
2X
affected the
5X.
revenue for each of your businesses?
I mean, in terms of revenue, I'm in the luxury retail sector, and it's true that during the period of lockdown, our business went down from 100 to nearly 0. But thanks God, with the ingenuity of people, with scaling up our e-com abilities, with a lot of private sale, we have been able to move it to 20%. So we have been able to multiply our e-com abilities by 6, but it was still minus 80%. And then gradually it started recovering. So at minus 60 in the month of May, at minus 40 in the month of June, and probably we are still at the same stand into it at minus 40. Which is quite heavy to absorb for any structure and organization which is there. But at the same time, I would say, and it is a point I wanted to speak about during COVID, it's the amount of collaboration, cooperation between our teams and our team members, the amount of understanding on how we can shoulder them, but how our employees could shoulder us. The amount of understanding with some of our service provider, developers, suppliers has been incredible. And I always wonder, why do we have to have such a situation in order to react with this kind of cooperation? Why can't we speak about climate change, why can't we collectively, without COVID-19, just assemble and make things together instead of fighting each other into doing it?
I think that was quite a key point, and I think a lot of businesses and CEOs did come together and converse throughout the pandemic and actually support each other. And I had a conversation, I'll not name names, but yesterday, which was very interesting, that a lot of CEOs were having those discussions, because people sometimes assume at the top you have all the answers, where actually throughout the pandemic we've learned to work a bit more together and support each other. And I think certain things were implemented a lot quicker. Some of the businesses had structurally plans that should have taken 12 months to roll out, and they took 12 weeks.
For us, we reached our e-com target of 2025 in 1 month. Any case, but it's okay.
Beat that. On to the next.
So we have basically two businesses. There is a mobility of people business that moves people around, and there is a mobility of things businesses, which is the delivery business. So the mobility of people business, of course, got impacted significantly, and it's still below pre-COVID levels. But alhamdulillah, for the last 10 weeks, we've been seeing week-on-week growth in that business. And the other business, the mobility of things business, the delivery business, that is now above pre-COVID levels. It went down a little bit, but it has recovered strongly and it is growing quite rapidly.
Yeah, we are in healthcare sector in American hospital, and I know my answer will misunderstand. Our revenue increased around more than 20%, but not because of COVID. Our revenue increased around 16, 17% on non-COVID business just because of the trust. Believe me, again, I repeat for the second time, the trust of the healthcare sector in Dubai. So people that they want to take their normal treatment, they never stopped. People that they used to travel abroad to take the treatment, they done it within Dubai, and they realized that the standard of healthcare in Dubai, it's same as outside. So I believe that most of the hospitals, no, the revenue increases. If it's not, that's their problem. Honestly.
Thank you. Hani?
I'll just answer the question in much more relative way to the AI summit that we are here for today. So, companies enabled with proper AI, algorithm, and this will actually answer in different way and much faster way to this pandemic. And what I would love to say that through our business intelligence, we're seeing a less number of transaction and traffic to our physical stores. So customers were making less visit, but much bigger basket. So the basket have increased between 20 to 50%, depends on the time of the week. And the customer traffic, the transactions were low by 20 to 30%. So, but what happened is that the online was witnessing an amazing surge in the increase of number of orders. I'm talking about numbers of close to 300%, 400%. In a country like Saudi was very close to 1,000%, same like Egypt and the rest of the markets. So the online was another great answer for our customers because of the less traffic and transaction to the store. Then they become much more an omni-channel customers. And what we have came to know during this pandemic, which is really amazing, is that 28% of the customers that they tried the online during pandemic, they never ever access any online platform. So 28%. And 32% of our customers currently are continuing to be an omni-channel customers, i.e. doing their shopping online and offline. So this is the beauty around AI. This is the beauty to see how we can benefit from this pandemic to try to get your revenue upstreams from different sources and different channels. And I would say today, through personalization, we're able even to increase the average basket and help our customers to get better choices on the online. And that's why we witnessed recently the Carrefour opened the first fulfillment center here in the UAE. The dark store, which is completely outside any of our store. In my opinion, you should look at ways to improve productivity, improve efficiency, and this will help us to get this wonderful omnichannel experience.
Finally, Dr. Mohammed Al-Reda.
We're a government agency, so we are not concerned with making profit or generating revenue or so on, but we are supportive of, and we regulate entities that do so, such as the American hospital or any of the private entities that are delivering healthcare. But I'll give you two numbers. During the lockdown, our outpatient consultations went 100% online, as well as our licensing services, which also went 100% online. Now, this was a great opportunity, a great KPI to achieve. However, we kept on learning during the lockdown that how do we make our services faster? So if our license service was delivered in 3 days, how can we make it in 24 hours? In fact, how do we take out the card completely? We do not need to issue paper printed card or plastic cards as licenses. We can send you your license online. So there were good opportunities for us to learn through the lockdown. And hopefully, once the pandemic is over, I think we will be achieving much, much better KPIs. In fact, re-engineering our KPIs.
Well, I can't see anyone else queuing up for questions. Oh, we do have one.
Hi, my name is Asfar Khan. I'm from Emirates Airline. Thank you to all of the amazing speakers here for sharing your views. My question is with regards to the theme of Restart Dubai. So today, sitting in July, taking a short-term view of, say, end of December. So in 6 months' time, I'd like to ask all of you if you could quickly share, what would be the recovery level for each of your industries, say, come the end of the year. And second part of the question is, so just a ballpark estimate, because we're all gathered here together and we're all totally focused on the recovery. So, we'd like to know, where do you see, just an estimate, where would the recovery be 6 months down the line? And the second part of the question would be, what would be the 2 or 3 most key, initiatives at a national level and perhaps even at a global level that we would like to see, which would help you achieve that level of recovery? The level of recovery obviously being in comparison of the pre-COVID levels. Thank you.
Thank you. Patrick.
I don't think we can have a real answer because we don't know how long it will last and how deep it could go in the second wave. We only are making simulation and hoping the best and working for the best. And we really need to make sure that we maintain this agility, but at the same time, this proactiveness to adapt to the situation. So if I make our own simulation, we feel that the return to normality, a little bit like Mr. Al-Abar have said it this morning, or Her Excellency Reem, would be more on Q2, Q3 2021. In the meantime, we will have probably to live with this pandemic, but we will have probably learned much more on how to act and to react, and how we can connect better with our customer and consumer and among each other, and how we could deal with this situation like today, which is a fantastic event which is being done. So I'm personally quite optimistic that we will be able to better manage the situation and to live with this COVID-19 around us. But we will have absolutely to take the necessary measures, but also be prepared, again, like Mr. Al-Abar have said it, that we might have a second wave. We might have a little lockdown, and we will reopen again. But hopes will make us the drive. And we have to maintain this hope and to work very hard in order to adapt to it.
I think that's a good point, and the fact that we have learned so much in such a short space of time.
Ingenuity of people, of the humankind.
Absolutely, everyone coming together, that generosity. But as you say, we will be better prepared should, fingers crossed, nothing happens. But if we do find ourselves in a similar situation.
Look, I think let me take this one level further. The digital transformation of the region is only going to accelerate. It has already accelerated. Digital economies will become a bigger part of our economies. And as was mentioned a bit earlier, to build these digital businesses, to build digital services, you need talent. And Dubai, in the spirit of restarting Dubai, has done a phenomenal job over the last 20 years, building a value proposition for top talent. So my view, very optimistic view for Dubai, is that as the region recovers from this pandemic, as digital economies become a bigger part of the overall economy of this region, Dubai will have a bigger role to play in the overall recovery, because a lot of the digital services will be built by talent that is based here in Dubai. Now, of course, to the second part of the question, what is needed? Of course, we need to do a lot more of the same to remain open, to remain positive, to remain with a growth mindset. There is some regulatory intervention or support that can be done on the topic of data and AI, on localization of data that will actually help drive more innovation and make sure the innovation doesn't stop. But overall, as digital grows, the role of Dubai in the regional economy grows.
Sherry?
Actually, I'm very optimistic, and it's all about strategy and pre-planning. And I believe that Dubai already pre-planned very well for any pandemic. And a very clear proof that Dubai hasn't stopped during the pandemic or the government activities. Everything is happening, it's going on, and it never stopped. So the effect or the recovery and all of that, I asked the guy if he can check how many passenger, once the flight open, want to come to Dubai and leave the country and move to Dubai. how many residents within Dubai, their embassies sent to them an emails asking them to come back to your country, and they refused, and they stayed in Dubai. Dubai will never fail, and we recover very soon, and I don't think there is much hurt to us. That's very simple, because of planning and the strategy and actions that all of us, we are part and responsible for it.
Thank you. Hani.
Yeah, from our side, I would say, as a company, Majli Fotem is in general very optimistic, and this is, instilled and driven by our vision, which is creating great moments for everyone every day. So in everything we do, we keep this optimism in terms of creating better, experience for our customers. So I can talk quickly about several of our businesses today. We see a great recovery in our malls, mainly in Mall of the Emirates, which is a mall dedicated for the residents, locals, which is not so much depending on tourism. So it's a great comeback so far, looking at the rest of the market and the rest of the shopping malls. If you look at our Ski Dubai today, it's booming, it's full. Summer vacation is here in Dubai, so you can benefit from the best ski experience, in Mall of the Emirates, and it's already full. If you look at our cinemas and Vox cinemas, now we know that most of the movies were postponed, but now by end of August, September, new releases will come. Already since we opened the cinemas, we have a great occupancy, great coming back with the social distancing, and people were very happy, to experience something outside their homes. And if you look at my business, which is the grocery retail, in fact, the online business will continue to grow and will continue to flourish. I'm talking here about triple-digit growth. I'm talking about very high demand, very high expectations. When it comes to the physical stores, of course, the grocery will continue to do well, where the other sectors, like mainly electronics, fashion, clothing, are still suffering. And I think this will take some time, not before Q1, Q2 next year, where people will get confidence back and the whole economy will come back in almost to normal cycle. At the end, we are living in Dubai. And Dubai is very well known to be always innovative, always ahead of the curve, and ahead all the rest of the markets.
Thank you. Dr. Mohammed?
Well, I also like to remain hopeful that recovery levels will be very good, very fast. Again, multiple stimuli packages have been put in place from the leadership of Dubai to reinstate and recover fastly the sector that suffered during the lockdown. What I would like to see is, and I'm happy to see the entertainment sector doing very well. This means the mental well-being and health of the people will go back also very well unaffectedly. However, I would like to see the right policies and the right initiatives put in place for mental health. I compare it to a post-traumatic stress disorder syndrome, where yes, we're going to have to face and deal with certain disorders that will need certain high level and very detailed level of attention. So I hope to see that mental health policies, if they're there, to be activated immediately, and this is around the world, not in Dubai and the UAE, and to see certain initiatives kick in very fast.
Thank you. We have time for one very quick final question, as we have to get things moving along, but I will take the gentleman's question standing up because you've been there for a while.
Yeah, thank you very much. It looks like from all the talk this morning, the AI is here and it will shape the future. For Mr. Bishara, for a health sector, very specific, how you see the AI shape your future in the private sector and change your strategy? Did you have any preparation with the innovation department? And how you work with the regulatory and the government?
First of all, it's a conflict of interest because that Dr. Tariq defends the medical director of American hospitals. So, but I will answer you what you are saying. Okay, we are in American hospital. We believe that AI is involved in everything. An oncology program, the one we'll introduce to the market by mid of 2021, that will introduce the first smart oncology center. If you look at the role of Watson and how they analyze the treatment, the diagnosis, how they provide the advices for the oncologists, and it's much better. Apologize, Tara, I know that you're radiation oncology, but much time it's more focused and much accurate than our physician, and it's covered 30% of the things missed by the physicians. On the top of that, I believe that AI will play a great role on the radiologists. AI will play a great role, as I said, in the research. And healthcare and medicine, it's all about a research. So, for example, in oncology, there is no human can read 160,000 research paper a year. AI can do it. It's all about data. It's all about how to utilize the AI, how to accept your new colleagues within the organizations. AI is not a ghost that you will clap to him that to achieve your dreams. If you don't have the support of your employees and you don't have the support of the colleagues, he will never succeed. And we see many cases already failure within the region by implementing the AI, and they failed because there is no support from the humans. So at the end, that's why I always stress it's a human, it's a people. And from the regulatory perspective, let me answer you very straightforward from the government perspective. You will never find a strong private sector if there is no very strong and stable government system and regime. So I think I answered your question.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our panel.
Thank you. Patrick, how are you? I'm fine. Nice to see you.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now have time for a creative interlude. I hope you will be as excited as I am to introduce one of our favorite comedians. Ali Al-Sayed, please come to the stage. Great to see you here. The floor is
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A big round of applause for our MC, ladies and gentlemen. She's doing a wonderful job. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys a few jokes. Is that okay? But I need a little bit more energy from you guys because you're wearing masks and I don't know if you're going to laugh or not. Okay, so we're going to try that one more time. I'm going to tell you guys a few jokes. Is that okay? Okay, a few people. That's fine. My name is Ali Said. I'm from Dubai. I'm happy to be out again. This is wonderful. You know, one of the things I really missed about going out is people asking you where you're from every 2 minutes. That's amazing, right? Anyone you meet, the first thing they want to know is like, hi, where are you from? I stopped introducing myself by name. I just walk up to people and say, hello, Dubai. I personally stopped asking people where they're from because some of you guys have stories. It's horrible. Like I met this lady the other day. I said, hey, where are you from? She said, well, my dad's Palestinian and my mom's Egyptian. I said, okay, cool. She's like, I was born in Saudi and then I did school in Dubai and then I did uni in London and I had coffee in Los Angeles once. So yeah, I'm from LA. Where are you from? I said, I'm from 20 minutes ago from when I asked you that question. Arabs, make some noise if you're Arab. Here, make some noise a little bit. A few of you guys, okay? Never ask an Arab where they're from. Because, and this is especially Arab males, by the way. If you ask an Arab male where they're from, you'll get the same response every single time, no matter what. You'll be like, where are you from? They'll go, guess. And here's why this game is horrible. It's because no matter what you guess, you have to get it right. Otherwise, we get upset immediately. This happened to me once. I was talking to this one gentleman. I said, where are you from? He said, guess. I said, well, judging by the accent and the hair gel, I'm going to say, you're from Syria. And he got so angry. He said, what? I look like Syrian to you? Ah. I said, I'm so sorry. Where are you actually from? He said, Jordan, which makes sense. So I said, I'm so sorry. Which part of Jordan are you from? And he said, well, I don't know if you know it. It's a small village. It's on the border with Syria. And then he said, what about you? Where are you from? And I don't know, for whatever reason, I said, guess. I'm happy to be out. But this is a photo of me, by the way. This is a photo of me. Where'd it go? Can we have the photo back? We'll come back to it. But that was a photo of me right before quarantine, the lockdown. And then I just started eating for 3 months. It's incredible. We're so many exciting things happening in Dubai, mashallah, in the UAE. We're going to Mars. Let's have a round of applause for that. Yes, probe to Mars, guys. Although I am a little disappointed that it's delayed because that's where I told my wife I was going to be this weekend. Now I need a new excuse. I've been quarantining with my wife and my twin boys. They're 2 years old, and I don't recommend it at all. Turns out, twins are horrible people. They're just not very nice. People ask me all the time, like, what's it like quarantining with two-year-old twins? I said, I wish my wife and I self-distant 2 years and 9 months ago. That's how bad it is. Because when you live with someone all the time, then things start to change, right? My twins, this is true, by the way. I wish I was making this up. When the quarantine started, I was Baba and my wife was Mama, right? Just like 4 weeks into it, they learned our real names and they just started saying, Ali, Ali. We're like roommates. These guys were talking to me like they're the landlord. It's amazing. But I'll tell you the number one thing I missed during this whole thing, and this is, it's different for everyone, but for me personally, I missed Filipinos. I'm not gonna lie to you. I missed Filipinos a lot. Do we have Filipinos here? Filipinos are the nicest people in the world, right? They always sing everything. It's incredible. You can walk up to a Filipino and say, where are you from? They say the same thing. I'm from Philippines, Manila. For me, if you ask that, it doesn't really work, right? Where are you from? I'm from Dubai, Jumeirah. It's not the same thing, right? They have the coolest names ever, too. That's incredible. Like, Princess, Snow White, Barbie. And that's just the men, right? Filipinos are amazing, you guys. They have the ability to put you on live hold music. Experience that. You go somewhere and you order something. They say, per while, sir. And while you wait, they go, I believe I can fly. So this really happened, right? So I'm going after quarantine over. I finally get to go to the petrol station, right? And my friend was in the car. I said, listen, I'm just going to go get phone credit and I'm going to come out. I thought it was going to be quick, right? I get to inside the petrol station and the lady behind the counter goes, good evening, ma'am, sir. I said, just sir is okay, thank you. She said, okay, sir. Ma'am. I said, fine. Do you have phone credit? She said, sir, you want dur itisalat? I said, itisalat, please. She said, sir, you want 25 or 50 dirham? I said, I'll have 50, please. And then she checks and then she comes back and says, sir, sorry, sir, not available that one. I said, cool, how about 25? And then she checks, comes back, oh, sir, also not available. Maybe that one out of stock. So I started thinking, I said, okay, my buddy in the car has a do phone. Let me check, you know, if you have do credit. And that's when they give you advice. I say, sir, why you want do karban? But about the reception, that one. I said, lady, can you please check? And then she checked and it wasn't available. And then I said, listen, I'm sorry to do this to you and put you on the spot like that. But can you check maybe there's some stock in the back that you're unaware of? She said, that's a good idea, that one. I will check with supervisor. Marvin, ang basatin ka sa naman ng kamanan sa kamanana. Oo, durit sa lahat po. Pero while sir, he's checking, oh. I believe I can fly. And then she turns around. This, you can always tell when a Filipino has bad news for you because they make that face. So she turns around, she goes, sir, not available. I'm checked with manager. Oh, not available, that one. But then, you know, Filipinos are the nicest people, right? So she's not going to let you walk away empty-handed. So she's looking for solutions for you. So she says, sir, you want salik? And I was angry. I was going to, you know, react. And then I said, actually, I do want salik. Can I have salik? Then she said, sir, you want 50 or 100 dirham? I said, you know what, never mind. But I miss them, man. At home, so my wife is American, so with the twins, I said, hey, you know what? They're gonna speak perfect English and perfect Arabic. This is gonna be amazing. But this is what happened. One of the twins speaks English with an Arabic accent, and the other one, because of his nanny, speaks English with a Filipino accent, which is karma for me, right? This really it. He just comes out of nowhere. He said, Baba, anong, that, and he's, you know, struggling to find words. Like, Baba, anong that one, Omar beat for me. Big problem for me, Baba. Please help. Baba, why you never love me? Baba, I believe I can fly. Gotta love it, man. You know, I love doing accents because, mashallah, in Dubai, we have so many people from so many different, you know, nationalities and different flavors and different ways of speaking. And, you know, personally, I went to an Indian school growing up, so all my friends growing up were Indian. I learned how to speak English with an Indian accent. Until I was 11, I used to talk like this. It was so weird for everybody involved. You know, and do we have any Indians here, by the way? Indians, make some noise. I was gonna say, come on, one person, no way. This is what I love about Indians. Indians are the only people in the whole world that have absolutely no idea that they have an accent, right? It's incredible because they're out correcting people. It's crazy. I was hanging with two of my Indian friends. I said, hey, how's it going? He said, dude, remember that couple from last week? I said, yes. He said, unfortunately, they did the needful and got divorced. I said, that's horrible, man. And then the other Indian friend, he nudges him. He says, hey, idiot. It's not pronounced divorced, it's divorced. And I get on, I said, yeah, you tell him. But, you know, sometimes it gets out of hand. The other day, he was correcting our English friend. And I said, you can't do that. And he said, why? I said, because he's English. He is from the language. And then he said the most Indian thing I've ever heard in my life. He said, no, nothing like that. I speak the Queen's English. And I said, no, you don't. He said, why? I said, because I've never seen Queen Elizabeth go, hello, how are you? Please kindly do the needful, please. My Buckingham is your Buckingham, come on. I made samosa chai, come on. But, you know, that's it. When I was a kid, you know, all my teachers were from south of India, and they don't speak Hindi, they speak Malayalam. Do you have any Malayalis here? Endu Vishesham. Sugam, that's all I know, okay? So I got in trouble all the time in class, and I'd go to the principal's office, and, you know, the principal be talking to me, and then out of nowhere, he switches to Malayalam. I was like, Ali, what is this? You're such a useless fellow. You're always late to the class. You're never doing your homework. You're completely stupid boy. And then out of nowhere, he goes, Dad,
ഇടച്ച നാണം മുടച്ച് നേടിച്ച് മുടക്കാൻ ചാട് കടിച്ച് നേടി മുടക്കാൻ നാട് കടിച്ച് നേട് മുടിച്ച് നാട് പഠിച്ച് ആട് പഠിച്ച് തോണിച്ച് മുടക്കി നാടിക്കണ്ടേ.
Here's the best thing about Malayalis. You guys can talk for 20 minutes without breathing. It's amazing.
Like നാട് പഠിക്കണേച്ച് പഠിക്കണേച്ച് നാട് പഠിച്ച് നേച്ച് പഠിക്കണം നാട് പഠിക്കണേച്ച് നാട് പഠിച്ച് നാട് പഠിക്കച്ച് നേട് പഠിക്കണേച്ച് നാട്.
But his assistant was sitting there, and his assistant can't just sit there without agreeing with him or saying something. So when he says something important like
നാട് പഠിക്ക് നേട് പഠിക്കച്ചില്ല,
at this point his assistant has to go, exactly. I'm also telling. You guys have been an incredible crowd. Thank you so much. And alhamdulillah, we're back in business. Restart Dubai. And inshallah, we'll be seeing each other a lot more. I have to keep my mask on now. And I'll see you guys in a bit.
Hello again, everyone. I hope you're all enjoying the morning We've still got a few things coming and some exciting talks. But what I would like to do now is introduce for our keynote address the UAE's AI journey and what's next. It's always exciting to find out what's next. Please welcome to the stage once again His Excellency Omar bin Sultan Al Olama, Minister of State for Artificial Intelligence, Digital Economy and Remote Work Applications for the UAE. Quite a walk.
It is a long walk, yes.
The stage is all yours. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start by welcoming one of our most special guests and really an advocate for being agile, being disruptive, and being prepared for the future. The leader that has taken us through the pandemic in Dubai and has really created a cutting-edge case study for cities across the world. His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Crown Prince of Dubai. Welcome, Your Highness. And on behalf of everyone here and everyone in Dubai, thank you very much for the efforts and for everything that has been done over the course of the last couple of months. Ladies and gentlemen, we've gone through historic times. We've seen a pandemic that the world has never witnessed anything like in the past. And we've come out of it stronger, we've come out of it more able, and we've learned a lot that we can really use to become better in the future. I'd like to talk to you about the past first, and then the present, and finally the future. I'm going to talk to you quickly through our journey. The UAE in 2017 talked about artificial intelligence. Our leadership, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan announced that the UAE is going to have a strategy for artificial intelligence, and as well, they're going to appoint the first Minister of Artificial Intelligence in the world. This move was taken as a very bold move by every global outlet that understood the impact and the importance of this technology for the world. And this move was also celebrated by everyone. But the question was, what has happened from 2017 to 2020, and what was also being worked on? In these past couple of years, we've realized that the biggest challenge that governments face today is ignorance in the decision-making process. If a government needs to take a decision on whether to deploy AI or not to deploy AI, or use this technology or not, one thing that needs to be worked on is getting the officials necessary involved and aware of artificial intelligence and its impact. So we've worked with Oxford University. We've trained 174 government officials across 40 government entities to understand the impact of AI, the challenges of artificial intelligence, and at the same time, how do we responsibly deploy it to create a better future? And today, because of the proper deployment and the proper management, we're seeing the results that we're seeing in the UAE and the reopening of the economy, the livelihoods that were saved with the lives as well, and the great impact that this technology has had. So without proper planning, without proper guidance, we couldn't have achieved that. The second part of it was actually creating the human capacity or capability that will drive these technologies moving forward. Each single individual in this hall right now and in the country can lead the AI transformation moving forward. So it was very important for us to empower students, and we trained thousands of students in this journey. We've also looked at interacting with the private sector, with the public sector and academia to understand how we can be better. Our leadership has always told us that the best way to create the future is by involving everyone. We need to ensure that everyone is part of the success and that the UAE benefits, while at the same time our partners of the private sector, academia, and global partners benefit with us as well. We've also built bridges. As you know, we always collaborate and believe that collaboration is key. We built bridges with 8 countries around the world, and we're building bridges with other countries to understand what their case studies are in artificial intelligence, how we can be better, and how we can export as well our model to these countries around the world. Now, the private sector is a key component of that. If you look at AI development globally, the private sector is the driver of it. So ensuring that the private sector is our partner is also something that was key from the first stage. Now, we've done a lot of initiatives. I'm not here to talk about all these initiatives, but we've launched tens and hundreds of different initiatives that focused on making the UAE AI ready. And we thought that this was the right foundation to lay. But the question that we kept asking ourselves is, what is missing? And that is the question that myself and the team and the whole government was asking until we convened all of the AI experts in the UAE. This convening came under the guidance and the directives of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, because he did believe and he did say that if we have the right human talent in the UAE, if we're able to attract the greatest minds from around the world to the UAE, we will be able to create the future. The gathering itself gave us a lot of insights, but it also gave us an important direction. And this direction came from His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. When he attended the gathering, he said, this is a very impressive gathering, but now this gives you a challenge. I told him, Your Highness, what exactly is the challenge? He said, the challenge is to increase this number year on year. I want to come every single year and see the number of startups double. I want to see the number of people increase. And I want to ensure that the quality of life that they have in the UAE is the best quality of life possible. So this was our focus and our driver since January to this day. Now, what should we do as government? We know that this is a challenge that was put by His Highness. We know that this is the important thing that we need to be doing. So what can we do? I'm here today to announce a few initiatives that we're working on, initiatives that are going to improve the quality of life, make artificial intelligence accessible for all, and also ensure that this ecosystem that you saw of experts keeps increasing year on year. If you look at every single big artificial intelligence company across the world, there is a very common denominator between them. If we look at Apple, for example, Apple started in a garage. Google as well started in a garage. And Amazon started in the garage. All of these today are huge, colossal artificial intelligence companies that dominate the globe. Now, the common denominator is the garage, right? So should we increase the number of garages in Dubai or in the UAE? No. What we said to ourselves was we need to ensure that they have access to the hardware necessary, the technology necessary, while being in their homes. You don't necessarily need to be in a garage, but you can be in your apartment, you can be in your house, and you can access the most cutting-edge technologies. So the first announcement that we'd like to make today is that we are going to open up the ability for startups across the UAE and the startups in Dubai as well to access the most cutting-edge technology from here in Dubai. The first thing is we're opening up a supercomputer that has over 25 petaflops capability to allow these companies to crunch data, to run simulations, and do a better job with artificial intelligence. We were the first country in the Middle East to have access to NVIDIA's latest DGX A100 GPUs, which is the most cutting-edge technology in the world right now. And this will be open for startups across the board, as well as academia. So to attract talent, we're giving them access to something that they can't afford if they're just starting up their businesses. So we're launching the AI Lab, which allows access for all. The second thing that we're looking at as well, if you think about artificial intelligence, what's happening right now is these systems are able to crunch so much more data in a much faster pace. So in the past, we used to be able to, let's say, compute 10 images and see the differences in them in, for example, an hour. But because of the monumental improvement in the capability of these technologies, today we can compute millions of images in seconds and are able to take a lot more insight. So we're also announcing that we are launching the first autonomous vehicle trials in the UAE and specifically in Dubai. And we are going to open up the data that we gather, the road data, the structured data, to the rest of the world to ensure that autonomous car startups around the world can deploy in Dubai first and deploy in the UAE first before going to other cities. We want to ensure that our cutting-edge infrastructure, that our ambitious leadership is seen at the forefront of this technology, and this will improve the quality of lives for everyone. This will also ensure that the quality of service is better, and God forbid, in the case of pandemics, ensure that you don't need to deal with another human being to go from one place to another. So it will democratize transportation and also ensure that the UAE can be cutting edge when it comes to autonomous vehicles. So our second announcement is launching an autonomous vehicle hub in the UAE that is going to focus on bringing in the big giants. And we've already brought in AutoX, which is one of the biggest autonomous car startups in the world, that is going to deploy their cars across Dubai in the near future. And then finally, one thing that we realized, and this is under the guidance of His Highness and the leadership of the UAE, is that we should not just deploy technology for the sake of technology. We should also preserve nature. And there are billions of dirhams that were invested over the years to ensure that the wildlife in the UAE is preserved, to ensure that we can have national reserves as well, and to also breed, for example, hubara birds, and also breed the wildlife. So we're announcing as well using the capabilities that we have in the AI lab and in the AI office to deploy artificial intelligence to better preserve our nature. We are right now training our artificial intelligence algorithms to understand and identify every single species that walks across our national reserves. And these species will be then identified with regards to their traits, their movements. We will understand how do we breed them better. We'll understand how to preserve them better. And inshallah, in the near future, also open up the capabilities to the rest of the region to ensure that our nature also benefits from the development of technology. It's not just economic development, it's not just human development, it's also natural and environmental development as well. So this is the third announcement. And then finally, we are also going to open up our experience and everything that we are working for other government entities across the UAE and government entities across the world. So we're also announcing something that we're going to call the AI Code Hub. All AI code that is non-proprietary will be opened across one platform for other government agencies to benefit from, for government agencies around the world to benefit from as well, and also for the community like yourselves to come and have input in. If you want to understand what's happening and to go through the codes and also deploy it in your company or in your country, this is the platform. So we're announcing as well the AI Code Hub that is going to be deployed effective immediately for the UAE to benefit from and the rest of the world. I would like to say that our journey does not end here, it actually starts here. And if we learned anything from our leadership, it's that we're not doing enough and we always need to do more. We can only do that with individuals like yourselves. We can only do that if we can work together. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much, Your Highness, for your constant leadership. And honestly, we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
Gonna take you to a place that you never been before. I'm gonna take you to a place and open up the door.
Hello again. We're not over, so please stay. We're just waiting for Halal Al-Mari to escort His Highness from the venue. So exciting to have him here today, showing his support for a wonderful, wonderful conference. Now, our next leadership panel is going to be talking about travel and tourism. You know, one of the biggest industries that have been affected by the pandemic this year. And as we said at the beginning, the great thing about Dubai is that Dubai Tourism have very much opened up the city for business. You know, as of the 7th of July, we've been welcoming tourists back here, which is great to see. We need to get the economy going again. We mentioned Emirates Airlines have announced that they're going to be traveling to over 50 destinations, which is just fantastic. You know, we really are a hub where East meets West, and it's good to have people coming in and out of our city, yet safely and adhering to all the safety protocols that we have as the community put in place right across all our sectors here. So if you hang fire for a few moments, we will just wait for the return, so everyone's back in the room, and we will get cracking with that session, which is going to be moderated by Dan Murphy from CNBC. Thank you.
Gonna take you to a place that you never been before. I'm gonna take you to a place and open up the door.
Ladies and gentlemen, we request you all to be seated. Our next panel will begin in 2 minutes.
Travel and tourism, and what the future holds for the sector is quite a question. Well, here to hopefully give us some answers is Dan Murphy from CNBC. Dan is going to be chairing a panel. Do you want to introduce your guests? I don't think we can hear you. I'm going to give you my microphone as a backup.
Thank you. You can hear me now? Yeah. Well, let's welcome our next panel up onto the stage. I'm very pleased that joining us next is His Excellency Halal Al-Murray, the Director General of the Dubai World Trade Center, Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing. Welcome, sir. Also joining us up on stage today is, of course, Paul Griffiths, the CEO of Dubai Airports. And today we're also going to be joined by Boutros, the Digital Senior Vice President, Corporate Communications at Emirates. Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome onto the stage. How are you? Welcome. Please take your seats and we can get the conversation started. Welcome. How are we all feeling? Very good. Thanks. Well, let's get the conversation started. As you all know, tourism is critical to Dubai's economy, and it is going to be a key component of the recovery story as well. So let's unpack some of the key themes and some of the trends that we can expect to see over the next few months as the economy reopens and society gets back to normal. Your Excellency, I'd like to start the conversation with you, if that's okay, please. As the Emirate gets back to business, how are you hitting refresh on the Dubai tourism and travel brand? Can you talk about some of the strategies you've been putting in place over the past few months?
So first of all, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome all of you here. I also want to take this moment to say, our thoughts definitely go out to all those affected by COVID-19 across the world. And also a special thanks to our leadership, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and also the follow-up of His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed for really, guiding us through this pandemic and taking, very decisive actions at each stage of the way to ensure we are where we're sitting today. Of course, also thanks to Sheikh Hamdan for coming to visit us today. I think that was very encouraging. When we're looking at the tourism sector and we're looking at Dubai, particularly, we see definitely, a great feeling and a great sense of positivity with the reopening. Over the last months, a lot has happened. I think, the first thing I would say is a great thanks to the private sector, working very closely with us to ensure we could open all aspects of the tourism sector safely, and and I think that early opening has given everybody a chance to get used to, what is the new COVID normal that we're currently living in today. Of course, we're all hoping for the post-COVID, and we're all looking forward to that. But right now, how do we make business work in this time? When we talk about Dubai as a brand, it's very important when we think overseas, and maybe Boutros will tell you a little bit more about how many locations, but we have a very diversified tourism strategy. And that really means that, people really do come and visit us from all over the world, just like our residents and all of you sitting here today are from all over the world. Our tourists are the same, and we are lucky enough to have that airlift, which gives us that privilege. What we're seeing is people are definitely interacting with our brand. In fact, and again, this topic's about AI, but when you look at our the way we market and the way we cover, 48 to 52 countries, depending on what campaign, we find that the machine learning and also the types of tools that are used to optimize the type of creative assets, we've seen a great shift in people throughout this pandemic. So if we look at the type of assets people were looking at, the type of content they were consuming, 10 weeks ago, then 8 weeks ago, then 6 weeks ago, and down as little to 2 weeks ago, that's varied a lot. And the good thing though is we've never seen such high engagement as with Dubai brand. And I think that's a testament to the advocacy Dubai has across the world. If you take even 2019, 25% of the visitors who visited Dubai in 2019 had visited Dubai before in the previous 12 months. So that level of repeat visitation and that level of advocacy has really helped us to ensure that we do have a lot of people, who continue to be waiting to come back to Dubai, for holiday, to visit friends and family, for business events like this, and we really see, this interest increasing.
What is the most critical tourism market for you, and how are you targeting that market?
For us today, we definitely have what we call a top 20 markets. And what I would say is that, all of them are just as important. You have markets such as the UK, Saudi, India, that together make up circa 30%. But then you have many other markets that make up between sort of 3 to 7% of our tourism. Even China today, we're in touch with, over 250 partners in China. We engage there with a very large number of travel agents. And we're waiting for the Chinese market to open back up, because we see that in itself will continue to be a top 10 market for us. If we look at the last period, everybody, I think every single person mentioned these tools like Zoom, WebEx, etc. My team has engaged with around 65,000 travel agents across the world in over I think 380 online calls to really ensure that all of our partners, we have over 3,000 trade partners across the world, they're all ready and started to sell Dubai again. And there's a great level of interest. The other thing is, when you look at the reports which are coming out, on a weekly basis about people's interest in travel. I mean, if I asked everyone in this room, is anyone really planning not to travel in the next 12 months? I don't think anybody would raise their hand. And we're seeing that online today. So we are actually seeing from all of our source markets, we're lucky enough to be coming in, always in the top 5 in searches. Many cases, many of our markets, we're coming in the top 2 people are searching for to understand what's happening. And again, I have to emphasize here, this is not just leisure tourism, because we also have a lot of business tourism here, whether it's to these type of events or many of the multinationals and other corporates set up here, use Dubai as a hub, as said by Mudassar earlier, as said by a number of speakers earlier, as a hub for the whole region. And I think that is that is very important, and we need to build on the trust created by the government's handling of this pandemic and engagement with business across to continue to build on that success.
Absolutely, and we're already starting to see green shoots, I guess, when it comes to tourists and tourism resuming here in Dubai. I wanted to bring Paul Griffiths into the conversation now. Paul, let me just say you've also done an excellent job of keeping the airport running throughout the course of this pandemic, and what a challenging job that would have been for you. So thank you for your work. But I guess maybe take a step back and just characterize for us the impact that the pandemic has had on the airport, and can you quantify it in any way with regards to travel numbers, passenger numbers coming through the airport? Can you put a piece of data on it for us?
Well, thank you very much, Dan. And it's great to see everyone here. And what I'm reminded, seeing everyone here, is what an emotional experience has been for me, because seeing everyone in 3D again has been amazing. We spend all our time with our children telling people not to sit in front of the TV all day, but for 8 hours a day, on Zoom and Teams. That's what we've been doing. So it's fantastic for my eyes and for everyone else, I'm sure, to see us all here. The impact on the airport was very, very rapid and very dramatic. We went from 1,100 flights on a typical day, 280,000 passengers, down to 17 flights in the space of 3 days. That was pretty dramatic of itself, but in May alone, we had 44,000 passengers through the airport, which is the normal number that we would normally experience at DXB in 4 hours. So the dramatic impact on the airport has been quite astonishing. However, we took some very quick action with the support of His Highness Sheikh Ahmed bin Zayed Al Maktoum, who has been by our side and very much in evidence throughout this pandemic. And what we've done is taken measures to make sure that the safety and security of our passengers and staff is absolutely at the forefront of everything we do. And I think, just as Hilal was just describing, the most important thing we've got to do is reassure everyone that Dubai is an incredibly safe and great place to be. And not only will people be safe and secure, but when they're here, if there's a problem, we will look after them with our excellent healthcare. So the impact on the industry has been absolutely enormous. But thanks to the very quick decisions made by the government, the decisive leadership we've all very much appreciated, I think we're going to have a very rapid rebound as and when the world opens up. So getting our head round the changing dynamics of what's happening on a daily basis across the world is quite challenging, but we have a great team, and I'm sure when the world starts traveling again and public sentiment supporting travel, the 4 billion people that have been under lockdown around the world, the thing they most want to do is get back and travel. And we've got to give them a great high quality product, a great opportunity, and great value for money to get them back to the UAE. So I'm very optimistic about the future.
So Paul, just to expand on that, how are you collaborating with Emirates to make international travelers feel safe when they come back?
We're in more than daily contacts with my colleagues at Emirates, Boutros here representing them today, because of course an airport without airline activity is not really a functional entity. So we are working to support everything they're doing. We put product changes in place. We've put plexiglass in the check-in to protect the check-in staff. We've sanitized the entire airport from top to bottom. We've got high-tech COVID busters on our handrails of all our escalators to deal with things, to keep them sanitized. All of the entire walking route has been properly physically distanced, and we've opened up a few of our outlets to give passengers the convenience as they go through. But the aim is to really try and convince everyone that we were very early and proactive in making sure that people feel safe when they travel, which is an incredibly important commodity I think people will be wanting us to assure.
Boutros, would you like to pick up on that? How is Emirates catering to the post-COVID traveller, and I guess expand for us some of the initiatives that have been put in place over at Emirates to make people feel safe and to bring them back to Dubai and to get people moving around the world again?
Yeah, it's no secret. We took all the...
Let's drop down.
Sorry. We took all the necessary measurements, like everybody else, and it's no secret, to respect all the necessary protocols and safety. Of course, safety becomes people are so much aware about safety and measurement to take, and because simply it touches their own life. We are from Emirates. It's not easy. It may sound like all positive, but it's in fact it's very complex operation, which require a lot of coordination and cooperation with various.
Just get a new microphone there for you, Boutros.
Sorry, guys.
There we go.
Hope is this one working? I didn't realize I was talking to myself.
I might give you my microphone.
And now?
Oh,
Okay.
there we go. Excellent.
Okay. So sorry, just maybe I missed the question on what Emirates is doing in terms of safety. Of course, for us, we've been ahead of or the forefront of a lot of other airlines in taking safety measurements, especially when it comes to aircraft sanitization and all the protocols. Even before the pandemic, Emirates had a very advanced filtering systems where travel has been always safe and takes all the health measurements. All what we are trying to do now is to spread the message that travel is safe. This is now probably the biggest problems the airline industry is facing. Obviously, our industry is very global. It touches every point across the globe. We cannot really, I wish we were like a local organization. Travel has been hit globally, of course, and for us it became extremely challenging to restart, not just restart the operation as such, but I talk always with my marketing hat, is to convince people that travel is safe.
Boutros, I also have a prickly question for you, if I can, please. With regards to Emirates, I know aviation has just been so profoundly impacted by this pandemic, and Emirates has, of course, been right-sizing its business in recent months to respond. Can you tell me, when people start coming back to Dubai, will they have to pay more to travel, or will Emirates keep prices low, despite the fact that the business has been right-sizing and adjusting in this environment?
I can say our prices are very competitive. Obviously, you would realize, like, Emirates is not looking at this stage at making money. We are looking at providing a service, which is started, if you all remember, in the beginning of the pandemic, it started on repatriation flights. Even we brought people for free. Prices, of course, the market dictates the price, but of course the cost is much higher. With the restriction of travel across the globe, which is still going on, it becomes very difficult to fill in an aircraft. One of Emirates Airlines' main mission is to service Dubai and United Arab Emirates and to keep it connected. So you would probably heard now we fly to over 50 destinations. Over 50 destinations, it doesn't mean the same frequencies we used to travel before. So we are trying to provide the service at a really minimum cost on us and minimum cost on passengers. So to be honest, our prices are still very low in comparison to our cost.
Your Excellency, obviously that'll be a factor for when tourists and travelers start to come back to the Emirate and to the country. I wanted to get you to respond to a comment that the IATA boss made this week. He said, the crisis will have a long shadow. And I thought that was quite an interesting comment, but he's saying the crisis is going to have a long shadow. Fewer passengers are saying that they will travel again in the first months after the pandemic subsides. So how do you change the marketing playbook to cater to that traveller who is perhaps more concerned about travelling these days, and also, I guess, to add another point, maybe less financially able to travel as well? Clearly, cost is a big concern for everyone now in this, to use a word Paul hates, the new normal.
Look, I think that's a very important question, and I think I need to go back to, maybe the first session of the day where Mr. Al-Abbar talked about, the pandemic coming as a surprise to everyone and, being ready for what's coming in the future. I think he talked about September or whatever. But, the way we look at it is very simple, is that, here in Dubai, I think everybody has been very much supportive of the way the government has approached this pandemic. How do you learn to live within this new norm? The policy of testing, tracing, has allowed people to go back to work. It has allowed us to, put in safety measures to conduct this type of event. The DWTC has awarded us the Safe City stamp. What I can say, and again, what makes us really proud, is if you look at the 200 nationalities living here in Dubai, they've taken this responsibility on themselves. And it's not anymore, this is transferred from a government initiative to the initiative of the whole city. Now that is something which is very visible globally, and people can see that, you could see very clearly on the news, a city like Dubai and the UAE itself that is approaching this pandemic in the way that it should be approached, with caution, putting the right measures in place, knowing that life must go on and trying to get back to your new normal. His comments are very specific, and the comments he made related to the next couple of months, definitely is correct. Not all airports are open today. We are, as Boutros mentioned, Emirates is opening over July 50 cities. They've reinstated the 380. All of these are very positive signs, and we are, again, in daily communication with Emirates, and we are going out to those cities, making sure we have the communication in place. And again, what we are finding is that the traveler today, it's not really, he knows that the airport and the aeroplane are going to have particular measures in place, and that's being promoted everywhere. What he is also asking about is, what about the city when I get there? Is the city, how is the behavior in the city? How are the various touch points that I'll be interacting? What's it like going to the beach? What's it like going to restaurants? And all of these questions are getting asked. And again, we're even investing now, we have sort of AI chatbots that are answering people's questions on a live basis. It's very, very important to ensure that everybody outside knows what we already know. Many of us, and again, the comments he made as well, the attitudes are changing very rapidly. The person who 6 to 8 weeks ago wasn't thinking about a holiday, that wasn't the first thing on their mind. As Busrat mentioned, and many people have, they're starting to think about that. And they're looking for familiar cities that they feel confident have taken the right steps and have the right healthcare system and have the right tools in place to ensure they don't have to worry about that while they're on holiday enjoying themselves. And again, in Dubai, I can say that the enjoyment and the fun has returned to the city. Everything is open, almost everything is open. I mean, if you look at the tourist touch points, whether it's beaches, water parks, these are the things the tourists see, and this is what, we as Dubai Tourism work closely with the industry, and we actually have inspectors, who we give the tools to, and they have the online tools to track sort of everything happening to make sure that there's not 1% or 0.5% of people, businesses who are not complying. We need to make sure 100% compliance, and that's what's been happening over the last weeks. And we've seen, I think what's happened is the early opening, which has allowed a lot of domestic tourism, has allowed all businesses here to get used to it. They're putting their own tools, their own digital tools, their own, train their own people, and that's really worked in the right direction. What I think is that it is going to be a summer over this quarter where cities are opening up. As airports open up and as Emirates fly there, we will see people coming. Post this period, once everything's open, we will see a lot more normalization. And I sort of said in previous interviews that I see that coming, the normalization part coming more in Q4. And that will be within the new normal of COVID. Then post-COVID, we do expect things to go a lot more back to normal because, ultimately, people do want to, meet face to face. They do want to travel with family and friends. It's no longer enough for people to stay at home with their Netflix and Zoom.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And I'll just give the final word to Paul and Boutros as well. When you look towards the future now, Paul, what is the airport of the future going to look like? We've spoken about this in the past, but I'm sure your thoughts on this have changed now. And Boutros as well, the aircraft of the future, are we going to see social distancing measures kept in place for a while longer yet? What other measures are we going to see enacted on board the aircraft to keep people safe? Paul, I'll start with you.
I think whilst we're in the middle of the eye of the storm, it's very easy to be quite depressed about things, but actually, I think that the future, particularly for Dubai, and all of the things that we've seen today, with its focus on technology, its solid leadership, and its compliant behavior, which has actually made a huge difference to the limitation of the spread of COVID-19. I think all of those things are giving us an excellent platform to spring into the future. And I've always believed that airport design is incredibly old-fashioned and very legacy. And actually what people now want are more personal experiences and better value for money. And I think the shadow that the IATA DG talked about of COVID-19 will be that people will firstly want more assurance about the quality and safety of the product. Secondly, they will want to be able to understand that they have the job security and the financial wherewithal to travel again in large numbers. Now, I think airports of the future will actually be much more personal experiences, and we will have to invest a huge amount of money in taking a lot of the legacy systems that exist in airports for the convenience of the airport operator, not for the convenience of the customer, and take those off-site where they can be done at homes and in offices, so you don't have to go to the airport except to get onto your plane. So that will change in the future, and I believe what we've been through over the last few months will accelerate that change. And I think, rather than airport operators sitting back and going back to the way they were, I think this is a great opportunity to transform the customer experience.
I guess the aircraft of the future is going to be from an airline point of view for us, and we hope and we like to have the same aircraft we had. So it's like all this talk about social distancing inside the aircraft and so on. It's nice to have it during the COVID, yes, but post-COVID, we like to believe to go back to normal. The economy of the aircraft is built on filling the seats. So having the space, I don't think it's going to be an option unless passengers are willing to pay. Because no matter what we do, you always ask, when is your price going to be cheaper? So the reality, what we wish is one thing, the reality another thing. Again, everybody knows it's no secret, like after the when they find a vaccine, hopefully things will go back to normal. How quick, we don't know. But we are very optimistic. We are in an industry where we carry people.
I think it stopped working there. No, unfortunately not. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Well, look, what we might do is just quickly take some questions from the crowd. If you do have a question for one of our panelists, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over to you.
Yeah.
And we can continue the conversation very quickly. I know, Your Excellency, you wanted to take a question if you can. Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to ask a question?
Go ahead, please.
Sir, over here. We'll try and get a microphone over to you as well.
Okay, is this working? Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe if you just speak very loudly.
As you can see, it's a little while since we did events.
Yeah.
Hello. So good afternoon. I mean, good morning to everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. It's the first event, and great to be here. First of all, I would like to say thank you for Dubai government. They have done an amazing job during the COVID-19, the lockdown, and I think, especially Hilal Al-Mari, Excellency, keep us updated on the tourism industry, what's coming and what is next. My question is following. Of course, during this lockdown, everybody, all the companies learned something. But my question is, what was the biggest lesson you learned during the COVID-19? Question for all the panelists, please.
Look, I think in context of the tourism industry, you know, if we had to say, and again, many lessons, but if I focus purely on the tourism industry, there are a few things that definitely resonated. The first one was the support we have from the private sector, because what we saw in terms of the private sector's reaction to this pandemic was amazing. You know, everybody, from the people sitting in the front row to people I see in the crowd, they came and they offered their services to help. And in fact, you know, they offered their staff accommodation, their hotels. You know, everybody wanted to contribute to the city. You know, that was very humbling, but at the same time allowed us to move very, very quickly. And it really allowed us, you know, to overcome the challenges that other places in the world were having of capacity. So that was definitely one thing that really resonated. The other thing is that, you know, the strength, the other thing is the strength of the infrastructure here. You know, we're very lucky, and again, some of the speakers earlier were talking about the healthcare system, the hospitality, you know, the hotels we used, all of the infrastructure we had in the city as well. You know, the people were able to turn it around. The lesson, of course, is one, you know, that we need to be prepared, and I think Mohammed Al-Abbar said this earlier. We need to be more prepared. You know, we all thought we were very prepared for anything, Well, I for one, I'm not speaking on behalf of my colleagues, but again, the general feeling is that something like this was not expected. If you look today, what I think is most important from where we are at this stage in the pandemic is really ensuring that we move forward fast. We want to make sure that we take every precaution, but we always want to make sure we're first out of the door. This is one of the reasons, if we take the event industry today, this is one of the reasons we're having this showcase event. We could have left this event till the fall, but again, because of all the people and all the interest that was shown from corporates, from all of you, it was very important to hold this event with all the precaution measures to really show, for the whole industry to see how it can work, and for the world to see that, if you do come together and you work closely together, you could definitely make things work even within this new normal.
Paul, Boutros, any thoughts on that question?
Well, I think the first impact to manage was liquidity, because clearly you have to, in any business, if you get a crisis, maintain and stop the flow of cash out the door. So we had to take some very early steps to stop that happening, and then manage through a period of very difficult conditions, unprecedented conditions, and manage quite an austere operation. I mean, 1,100 passengers a day instead of 280,000, and then reducing capacity because of the need to maintain isolation between people. So that's been very challenging. But I think the thing is, what we must all remember is that this situation will pass, and the opportunity to be bright again and to do all the ambitious things that Dubai has been famous for decades, those opportunities will re-emerge. So we have to maintain our capability and in fact increase our capability through the pandemic, so that when we emerge at the other end, we've got a better product, a stronger reputation, a much better value for money proposition, and every single person in the entire sector, from government, private sector, hospitality, tourism, is playing their part in putting Dubai on the map as a great opportunity to come and experience. Once people have been here, they come back for more. I know that Hilal's statistics prove that. So actually using this period with some great commercial opportunities to stimulate trial and give people that ability to come and experience what a great place it is, that's the opportunity that we must seize upon.
Boutros, the biggest lesson learned, and then if you could answer quickly, we'll take one more question.
Lesson learned, of course, a lot of lessons learned, but in terms of operation for us, is it about a challenge? Our challenge, unfortunately, we are a global international company. We are not purely local. We don't have domestic market. Therefore, our biggest challenge is when the whole world comes back, it used to be. In terms of readiness, we are ready. We have a huge fleet, maintained, kept, and waiting for the business to come back. So as quick as the pandemic is over, as quick as we can come back anytime to service the country and our customers.
Do we have one more question from the audience for our panelists? Yes, sir, over here.
Yeah, hi. Alex Benduis here from Link Viva. We're an event company. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge Dubai's leaders, and especially DTCM, as we work very closely with you. A question I have, which you've kind of touched on before, is how important do you see the event industry, and given the fact that we're at Dubai's really first conference and event happening, how important do you see the event industry as, for all three of you, as being a driver for the economy going forward during pandemic?
So look, to answer your question clearly, obviously the importance of the event industry is definitely there in Dubai. As all of you know, Dubai is one of the world's largest events hub, both by scale and also the quantity of events we have of all types, whether it's business events or leisure events. The visit of His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed also shows how important this is in terms of the city's agenda. When it comes to the last part of your question, which is during the pandemic, During the pandemic, i.e. over the coming couple of months this summer, you will see events of all types emerging. We do have concerts planned for Eid. We do have concerts planned for August. There is electronic music events happening in the next couple of weeks. Business events in the summer are not that frequent. So maybe there will be a few more, but it'll be more in the fall. However, one thing in common with all of these events is that there will be extremely strict, as you see today, precautionary measures taken and health and safety measures taken. So we will not be going back just yet to the big open concerts, for example, where there is no social distancing. We will not be taking any of those risks at the moment. It's a similar thing, with other tourism-related businesses, such as the cruise business. We do expect it to start in the fall, but not just yet. And the reason is because we want to make sure that we do this opening in stages. We've just got the tourism coming in again. We've got the airport. We want to make sure that goes smoothly. We'll do a number of showcase events over the coming weeks and build up confidence in the sector over this quarter so that we could hopefully go back, take the best of it and go back to a new normal in the quarter after that.
Your Excellency, unfortunately, we're out of time, so we'll have to leave it there. But thank you so much for joining us today. Paul Boutros, thank you as well for joining us. An excellent conversation.
Thank you all, and thank you all for attending.
Thank you. I'm sorry for my... شو ذنبك انت؟ Yeah.
What a great panel. And we're not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. We have one more to go. So please, don't leave us. Take your seats if you wouldn't mind, because our next leadership panel is going to be a roadmap for the resurgence of the hospitality industry, something very much at the core of Dubai. Hosting this session, just making sure you keep him on his toes, we have Manas Krani, anchor for Bloomberg.
Jane, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Your microphone working?
I hope so.
Yes.
They can hear us. This is the last hurrah.
This is the last, so don't go anywhere. We've saved the best for last, and you have got a fantastic lineup.
I have. I've got sort of the great and the good. They keep the doors open during COVID, and they're going to welcome us all back with plenty of new propositions. So, shall we get them on stage and get a little bit of action?
Let's go for it. Do you want to do the intro?
Yeah, shall I?
All yours.
Okay. And a big round, actually, you know what? We should probably say thank you very much to Jane before she disappears for the day. So,
thank you.
I think she's been great. So, the panel that I've got, let's welcome them up to the stage. It's Jose Silva, Chief Executive Officer for Jumeirah Group. He runs a couple of establishments in town. Jose, if you join me here. Next up is Chris Newman, Chief Operating Officer for Emaar Hospitality. Pam Wilby, she's the Complex Manager at Royal Meridian. Good to see you. I'd normally shake your hand, but we're socially distant. We have Chris Newman. Hopefully, yes, we do. Chris Newman, Chief Operating Officer for Emaar. And we have Pam Wilby, Complex Manager for Royal Meridian, Mark Willis, the Chief Executive for Accor, and Joachim Jan Schliefer, President for the Middle East and Africa and Turkey. I sort of socially distant say hello to you. How are you? Pam, welcome.
Thank you.
Great to see you, please. Joachim, welcome. It's all a little bit surreal, isn't it?
It is.
It's all a little bit different. But that's where these ladies and gentlemen are going to make our lives a little bit more different. Welcome, everybody. The title of this panel is A Roadmap for the Resurgence of the Hospitality Industry. Some of you never closed and you stayed open, and for that, we are very, very grateful as a community here in Dubai. I had the pleasure of saying hello to the Minister, Halal, as he went off. Now, when he joined me on Bloomberg recently, he was expecting an aggressive restart to tourism. So I just want to get a feel as we go down the panel, how the business is, how you're bouncing back. We're in the foothills of reopening. So let's just take it down the line, and then we'll get into the bigger subjects in terms of capacity, how you're ramping up. Jose, take it away.
Well, for us, we've already reopened 50% of our hotels in our beachfront. Of course, it's a gradual return that we're experiencing. We're quite positive about the Q3 ahead of us, and even more for Q4.
And for yourself, how are things looking?
I think for ourselves, similarly, we've got about 50% of the portfolio currently operational. But as we have brands across sort of different segments, that we're seeing mid-market doing obviously a lot better in terms of occupancies. We are sort of mainly at the moment downtown focused, okay. and therefore we have the ecosystem around sort of the malls, the entertainment piece. And again, this stuff is done through sort of scenarios more than anything else. So sort of the best case, worst case, sort of middle case, base case.
Are you a bit more optimistic as you look at into this audience? Are you a little bit more optimistic now, or is that just me, glass half full?
No, exactly, and that's why what I was saying is we look at these three different scenarios, and we're working towards the base case. And I would say that as each month goes on through this, we're doing slightly better than we thought we would on the base case. So, and I think that there is definitely an air of optimism moving forward as we or start preparing for Q4. What I am seeing on the base case is actually we're bringing forward the opening of some of the hotels slightly earlier. So that's a positive sign. So I think there's an air of optimism there.
Now, Pam, when you and I chatted, you said actually managed the fact that I've had one property open through perhaps the worst moments of this. That's actually helped you. So where are you in terms of capacity and re-establishing normality?
Well, yeah, having one property open all the way through and closing one down and now just reopened the Royal Meridian, it's been a learning curve, as everybody has said today. And the focus and the pure focus is on the safety, not only of our guests, but also our associates. And I employ over 2,000 people, and keeping them motivated, making sure we've trained them accurately. We've done over 2,000 hours of training to make sure that we're ready and that we're ready to welcome our guests. And it's a funny story because 65 of our hotels in the UAE, 70% are open. And where we've seen the surge and where we saw it very positive is in our desert resorts. They never stopped. They have been running at 80 to 100% occupancies right through the pandemic, which is a very positive sign. And that was all down to staycations, some of you that wanted to get away, you wanted to relax. And now, since we've opened the beach hotels, we now see that moving forward very, very in a positive manner. The weekends are very, very busy. And then the weekdays where we're doing different deals and deals that will attract the families that can take time off in the week, that is really going in a positive direction.
Okay, well, we'll dip into the staycation and whether we're spending our dirhams and enough off them in just a moment. Mark, how are you down there?
Hey. Yeah, very similar to the others. We're about 70% of our hotels are open. Some 60 hotels across the UAE, which is fabulous to see. June was an encouraging month that we were discussing before. We were just above 40% occupancy. And obviously, you're reaching for anything at the moment as far as demand goes, but it is nice to see it start to trickle and return. And obviously that's coming in a very local, demand-based business, of course, but very positive, I must say.
And Joachim, JJ, I've been told apparently I can call you JJ after the official introduction. How's business looking for you in the Hilton brand?
Well, I think if you're the last one in the row, it's difficult to answer that question because it's very similar as all the others. I like to take back though, because this is the third phase for me. We started this whole recovery model actually by working together with the local government, and I like to commend DTCM on the great work they have done on opening Dubai again. So that was the first phase, is to making sure that the destination is being safe, and for people to come back to us actually. Then we used the lockdown to develop something which we call Hilton Clean Stay, so to make sure that people feel comfortable coming to the properties back again. And now we're in third phase, and this is where I think we're all are. But we've used the knowledge of the opening markets in China, sort of the demand, and we developed some very sophisticated demand generation, ramp-up models, which actually help us now to decide which hotels to open and which facilities to open, and to make sure we can operate the hotels efficiently. We work with our owners to make sure we operate only those hotels that are really making money now. And so we're working closely with them. I think the owners are for us the important part now.
So part of the idea of this panel is about the resurgence. I've spent time speaking with each of your teams. Jose, I want to bring it back to you because this is the concept that I want us all to latch into. If I'm going to book to come to Dubai, or if I'm going to book a staycation, it can't just be the same product that I had before. You would suggest, Jose, that this is about an evolution of the product. It's about becoming more bespoke, perhaps at the higher end of the product, and much more personalized. So is this mean more cost, more training? What does that concept mean to you?
Well, for us, we wanted to make sure that we weren't just reopening and offering the previous product or service with layers of restrictions. We thought that's not going to be very exciting for our guests. We wanted to bring back the magic of traveling again.
Yeah.
So for us, the magic of traveling was reinvent yourself and reshape your product. So a few things that we've done, for instance, when the buffets were closed, we've created the trolleys that stroll the room and provide you that choice and quality in even more personalized matter. We've opened into our half boards our signature restaurants. We have 3 restaurants very successful with the local market, Kaito, Shimmers and Rockfish, and we've made that available. We wanted the guests to experience something more than they had before. We've introduced outdoor activities, early fitness, outdoor sundown yoga for our guests. So we thought our guests have been confined for so long, they need to come out and see something exciting, give them a reason to be out again. We've also increased the services of privacy. So not everyone is at the same level of interaction or readiness of interaction, I should say, going to restaurants or going to a busy pool or a busy beach. Therefore, we've increased the offerings in room service as well. So privacy became quite important to us. Overall, the big focus was how can we provide a added value in guest experience, not just added value from a monetary point of view or a more affordability, which obviously people are being sensitive to cost, but what are the new experiences that we are providing that tells our guests we're excited to be back again, and we can rediscover that magic of traveling once again.
Can I ask you, and any of you pick this up, which is, do you feel a new responsibility to slightly police how we are? If we're rowdy around the pool, if we are a little bit more, we've had, at the restaurant or whatever else. Is there a new level of responsibility on staff? Pam?
We've actually not employed this, our management. We've trained them to be social distance managers. So we actually have, and you can see them around the resort. You know who those people are. They're not just there to be policemen. They're actually there to make contact with the guest and be there as they would normally be in their daily duty as a manager. but we put the emphasis on making sure we keep everybody safe. And also we have what we've done with the housekeeping team. We've actually put them into t-shirts which actually are the sanitizing team. So the guests can actually see who those people are around the resort that are doing that duty. But the social distancing managers has worked really well, and we've had so much, positivity and response from that, from guests who have been there for the day or come for the weekend. So.
And then if I look at the two brands, gentlemen, at the end, you've got the Hilton brand and you have the Accor brand, and you have, I'm sure you guys also have flagship names for your programs, but I want to understand this concept of safety, and how do you make me feel, that it's not something that's going to put me off being there, that it's something that I actually want to embrace, because it's new, it's going to be new. When I go into a hotel, it's going to be a new way of engaging with you. So how important are these safety programs, and sort of not pushing them at me, but presenting them to me?
We're going to let
JJ can pick it up first.
JJ go first.
You want me to go first? Okay.
You set the benchmark for safety, JJ. Go.
Yes, that's absolutely fine. We developed Clean Stay with the producers of Lysol and Dettol and Mayo Clinic. And we looked at the room and said, what are those touch points we really have to focus on? And so, we mapped those out and we cleaned those extra. I think people in these situations will go automatically to the bigger brands. And I think this is where the advantage is for the bigger brands nowadays, is that feel comfortable going to a bigger brand and then know that we're taking care of them. And till now, I have to say the reactions have been extremely positive. I don't think people are being put off. I think, very much to what Pam just said as well, we have to educate the customers as well in the beginning of social distancing and how to behave everywhere. But I think we've done it in a very elegant way. You come to the room door, there's a seal, so you see that nobody's been in the room anymore, and people feel very confident. I mean, we have a lot of customers not wanting to have clean people coming into the room during their stay, actually. So people can define how their stay is going to be, and I think this is where we have to look at how do you personalize the stay around safety and cleanliness.
And then, Mark, for you, it's all, I think the brand, is it All Safe?
That's right. We've launched the All Safe program, which has been very well received on property, a global program. Implemented also things like a health line with AXA. Just coming back to what JJ was saying earlier, when in the very early stages of COVID, there was a really solid communication between all the big brands on how we would approach this. And everybody has taken a very similar approach. Obviously, safety first, but we're constantly referring, and the previous panel also, to personalization and guest experience. And I think over the last 5-10 years, there's been a huge increase in the need for personalization anyway. That hasn't changed too much. We've just had a huge amount of focus on safety that's been added to that over these recent months. The other comment I would make is that from a guest perspective, people are coming with an expectation, a preconceived expectation of what their experience will be. And you need to exceed that. And that hasn't changed. It's the same fundamental element of our business as it was before, is exceeding expectation. Yes, people have got a face mask on. Yes, there's social distancing. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a fabulous time, especially in a location like Dubai that has so much to offer.
So I'm about to get on a plane tomorrow. I'm traveling somewhere, and I'm traveling somewhere again at the end of next week. So it's going to be interesting to see what that engagement is with those hotel products overseas. But this goes to the point, Jose, when you and I were chatting. I asked all of the various people that I spoke to, we need global quarantines to shift before we can really accelerate the demand side. That's the jumping off point to acceleration, isn't it?
No doubt. I mean, we know that the governments of Dubai and other countries are trying to open up. It is crucial for the travel that borders are opened.
Yes.
That's the real...
And the quarantines end.
And quarantines end, because if you quarantine on both sides, then,
yes.
then it's challenging. We normally have, for our case, about 10% of our trade is local. Evidently, the 90% is the bulk of the business. But I'm confident. I'm seeing some travel happening in Europe. I'm seeing some travel happening within the regions. I think the consumer needs to start within its region, build that comfort on being on that plane like you next week. And more they see people traveling within the regions, more they'll go cross regions. Of course, the governments need to have those quarantines removed or reduced. But I'm convinced that when I speak to people, I hear a lot of trust in Dubai. People feel secure in Dubai. Our management of the crisis has been very good. We haven't had the outbreaks that other countries have had, and yet I'm watching their openings being quite successful. We've just opened a hotel in Capri, the Capri Palace by Jumeirah, last two weeks ago, and they're running 80% occupancy. So Europeans are traveling in Europe. I'm sure that as soon as the frontiers and the borders are open, we will see Europeans, we will see CIS, we will see China also returning. It's a matter of time, but we need to just start somewhere. If we see people doing it, we will aspire to travel again.
And for you, Chris, I mean, is that, as you said, it's about the operational nucleus around you, but are you hopeful that as we progress with these quarantines and we evolve those quarantines, that you see a fast return to some kind of normality?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I think we need to look, though, at the business in different segments. If we look at it from a business perspective, I think there we're going to be hit hard globally. I think there's going to be a lot of change in travel plans, how people travel, what the duration is, and also the cost factor. So I think in the luxury sector of the market, that's going to be slightly more challenging. And certainly things that we're looking at, also when we look at the sort of the meeting side, how does that all pan out? And this is where technology plays, I think, a much bigger, part in it. I think that segment is going to be, on the one hand, coming back quicker, but I think it's going to be more challenging to bring back to some sort of levels of norms over this period. But if we focus on leisure, which is primarily, I think, certainly where many of our hotels are, then I think it's going to move very quickly. And I'm optimistic, actually, at the point where we will see, given the measures that Jose was just mentioning as well about, obviously, from the quarantining, relaxing, I think Dubai is perfectly positioned to take actually quite a surge towards the end of the year and the beginning of next year. It was something that Paul Griffiths had echoed earlier in the week on a comment, and I tend to follow suit. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we're privileged. We've got the world's best airline. We have one of the most dynamic tourism authorities. I mean, I don't think any country could really match the kind of measures that have been done here by the authorities to make not only us safe, as residents here in Dubai, but also to get people to come and visit us. And I think the world is aware of that, and I think they're going to become more aware of that. So I think with the quality of hotels that we all operate, when you combine this with, as I say, the airline, the marketing efforts, and everything with it, I really do maintain an air of optimism for the last part of the year.
You touched on technology there. It's going to be interesting to see how much more technology plays in. Mark, you were saying that people want perhaps less people in their rooms, less people coming across the doorstep. How important is the technology evolution in terms of what you're going to offer us when we engage with the brand at Accor?
I mean, super important, but again, it's been important for some time. Today, it's just as important. Obviously, the usage has increased.
Does it just accelerate? Has COVID just literally taken what each of you have had to do? In other words, I've got a tech line in the P&L, I've got a tech line in the cost line, and I now have to sort of seriously look at spending a lot more and a lot more quickly than I had perhaps originally anticipated. Is that a fair?
It's a good overview, and let's be clear. We're here today at our first event, and I, like many people in this room, would much rather meet face-to-face than over a Teams call. Yeah. However, I've spent the last 120 days in my bedroom running Accor Middle East Africa, and I think we've done a good job at doing that. And that's just an acceptance of the technology and the situation that we're in. And that touches many people that are interacting with our business, whether it be leisure guests, business guests, etc. But I think as we go over the short term and long term, and you can see that here today, there will be a return to some kind of business normality, and that'll come in 3 phases. You can see today it's local. and that'll move to regional, and then that'll move to international. But coming back to your initial point, obviously that is dependent on quarantine.
So Pam, how good are we with tech? I've just had a very good lesson on Instagram from my competitor at CNBC. Pam, what about tech with you?
Well, yeah, a learning curve for me too, to get used to Zoom calls, Teams, etc., because I'm very much a face-to-face hospitality person, you know, and that's how I run the hotels. But you get used to it, and I can see our guests, and especially the regular guests that are in that older age, are actually, you know, learning to book online, learning how to use technology, how to order their food, how to do this, do that. It's quite amazing when you listen to their stories. And we've been in touch with our guests throughout the whole pandemic, and our business partners, and obviously, you know, the travel industry. But yeah, technology, it's here to stay. I mean, you know, it's probably made me become faster at it, and want to learn more as a personal thing. But the guest, let's remember, like you said, we're in the hospitality industry, and the guest still wants that personal service and still wants to see those people, wants to see those faces. And I think we've taught our associates to smile behind that mask, to keep that distance, but still keep that personal contact with the guest. And especially when you run resort hotels, you know, it's a little bit different to a city hotel.
There is going to be that difference. There's the obsession, you know, the sort of the in town and out of town. I think we're fortunate here. We have a great abundance of space, both downtown and indeed in the desert. So we've got about 10 minutes left, and we've still got a great deal left to go through. A quick line from JJ on technology, and then I want to ask you about the pipelines. You know, how do you evolve the product? And have you had to look at any of your product design as you go forward? So a quick line from JJ on technology, first of all, and then we move along.
Well, we started implementing a couple of years ago something called Digital Key. So you can choose your room on the Hilton Honors app. We have 106 million Hilton Honors members. And so they choose the room through the app, and they check in through the app, and they open the door through the app. So I think, you know, we did not have COVID in mind, but it's definitely helpful now that we have digital key check-in without touching the desk.
The great confinement generation is, we have about 8 minutes, so I don't think we'll get through the whole intellectual piece. But it was a proposition by Jose. I want to get a sense from you in terms of design. So the Hilton Group, you obviously manage businesses, you bring them in, you work with partners. I just want to get a sense from you, the conversations that you're going to have. How do you evolve hotels? How do you build new hotels? How do you build hotels and rooms and our experience with more safety involved in it, and an entire generation that sort of has gone through this pandemic? Is it going to define design and change design going forward in hotels and the experience?
Well, the short answer is yes. The longer answer is that we are a long-term business. So when we see building hotels, you build them for a long time. So we'll probably see some adaptations in hotels that we currently operate. And for newly designed hotels, we'll definitely see changes, and probably mostly around the food and beverage areas. That's where I see the biggest change coming. Buffets and whatever, you know, what we normally would do, we'll probably do that in a different way. I think the room design, probably not so much. I don't see, you know, we still want it to be a comfortable room. We still want you to be feeling great when you come into the room. And it's not going to be a hospital room which we're going to build, right? We just have to make sure we clean them better and in a different way.
Jose, it was your concept, it's your line, so I stole it, but then that's the best thing about telly. You get to take other people's lines.
This is an historical, pivotal moment in time where this generation of the great confinement, I think, will be impacted and change the near future. So a clear example of what we've done, we're building a hotel, Marsa Al Arab, right across from the Burj Al Arab, and we've immediately changed to echo what's been said. Our all-day buffet has been changed for 5 restaurants in one concept in order to provide that new privacy or also more exclusivity or more bespoke experiences. But I also think that in terms of AI, and we touched it, service will move a bit more digital. The customer will choose when he wants or she wants to interact or on a face-to-face or digitally. We've introduced a e-butler that has been launched concept, which is essentially moving your concierge or key contacts into digital. When the guests interact digitally, you could be seated by the pool somewhere and just ask for your cappuccino through your app. So that's definitely going to be fast-tracked. I would say less paper, more paperless engagement for sure. All in the positive of also finding areas. The trend recently in restaurants was more energy, more density, more crowd, more social gathering. We're back into that great energy in restaurants. That's going to continue, but I think that at the same time, you will have to think of areas where you have privacy while still having density. We have one of our outlets, it's all about sofa seating kind of majlis, where you do have, you feel the density, the room is crowded, but yet at the same time, you don't have that immediate proximity. So it's redesigned for energy like we were designing, but with a bit more distancing and yet not feeling in empty spaces. So you'll see a lot, I believe you'll see a lot of new design concepts being born out of this moment.
Chris, any thoughts in terms of the future, the next generation?
Yeah, I think we've talked technology. Obviously, we talked a lot about safety.
Yes.
I think one thing that we also need to be mindful of is that I don't think hotels will reopen the same way as they closed. And as a business model, I think we have to redefine what a structure of a hotel looks like, how does a company operate, the need for agility, the need for technology, for us as companies to be leaner, more agile, more effective. We're not going to see, I think, the same staffing levels that we saw perhaps historically. And I think it's a question of how do we meet that? How do we maintain the kind of level of service and guest engagement that all of us, all of our hotels in Dubai is known for, but at the same time make sure we're getting a return for our owners and for also the companies that we're working for. This is what I think is going to be one of the biggest challenges, because there's no question that the business will come back, and the business will come back, I think, very strongly. But will it come back at the same sort of rates that we enjoyed in the past? Maybe not. And I think, you know, we're continuing to grow. We've got Expo coming next year, which we're all excited about. There's more supply coming onto the market. It's going to get a more competitive arena. That's not going to go away. So I think, yes, technology is important. Safety and security is going to be very important in this immediate period. But long term, for sustainability, we've really got to look about how we operate our business.
If there are any questions on the floor, we've got another couple of minutes left. We've got a lady here, if you can come to the microphone. Yeah? It's always nice when somebody else wants to ask a question. Welcome.
Hello. My question is in relation to weddings. The industry is worth $4.5 billion, I believe, like the wedding destination industry and wedding tourism. A lot of us on the ground are just itching to get back to them. Do you have any intel? When will weddings be allowed to happen again? And secondly, what do you think, I don't like to use new normal, but what do you think the evolution of weddings may look like in venues once they're allowed again?
So it's a $4.5 billion. How much did you get from weddings in the last year? Jose, take it away. We'll whiz down the line. $4.5 billion business. How important is it this business comes back for Jumeirah?
It's a very important business. We have a number of weddings that take place at our Medina conference area. Weddings at the short term will be smaller gatherings, of course, a bit more space. When weather permitting, they would be more outside, I would say, than inside. We all know that inside is a different situation. But obviously post-COVID or post-vaccine, life will be absolutely normal. But I would think you would see less larger weddings probably at this stage.
JJ, have you any inside track? Do you want to break some news and we'll write up a nice article that you know when we're going to have weddings again? No?
No, not really. I know we have some demands, but it's for rather small weddings actually.
But on that, Mark, it's gatherings such as this. I mean, this is unique. I pumped some video back of this gathering to London. We're going to do a quick take on it. this is a unique moment. We're here in a sort of quasi-virtual world with Will.i.am. We're all socially distant. It is a new normal. So, you know, how important are these kind of events going to be to the business and to your future?
I mean, the reality of the situation is that most people, and I'm hearing a couple of stories otherwise, but most people have delayed such things as weddings.
Yeah.
Not least because of the gathering, but also inability of family members to travel. We live in a very global world today, and obviously traveling and quarantines, etc., are impacting that. I'm hearing a couple of stories of weddings over Teams, which doesn't seem to be the most romantic way to approach the topic to me, but anyway, if it works for somebody else, it's also fine. Listen, it's a critical element of our business, of course, along with other major events that happens at our hotels, and without us taking a next step forward, whether that be a vaccine or other, those type of things will come back, but very, very slowly and in reduced numbers. But if you look at this event today, for a first event, how it's handled, how it's been managed, super safety infrastructure, very enjoyable event to attend. It's also, you know, attending an event, whether it be a wedding or something else, is not impossible, even today in the current climate.
I think as Alabar said, as your boss said this morning, you know, we're still really in the middle, and sometimes I think we sort of forget this, because I go to a studio every day in an Uber, and something I didn't do earlier is to say thank you very much to every single Uber and Careem driver in this city that made it possible for people to get to work. I don't know about your teams, but for the Bloomberg team, it's a huge thank you to the people of Dubai that get on their mopeds, drive Ubers, drive Careems, and never once fail to turn up at 4:30 in the morning. So thank you. We'll close off very quickly. I mean, we mightn't get a wedding. I haven't found anybody to marry yet. Pam, a quick line from you, and then what I do want from each of you, more so from the Hilton and the Accor, because you're not going to tell me what you're going to build next, are you, Mark? I don't think. It's how much new pipeline you've got. Pam, a quick line on weddings, and then we'll do a little bit of the future, and we'll get something from Jose.
We're itching to get weddings back too, you know. You can do small events now. Definitely buffets and things like that. We'd have to be careful, but the future is there. I think we're going into the last quarter, where in two months' time. Let's see what changes are there. We're very positive, optimistic, and yeah, you are a big part of our businesses. Yeah.
JJ, are you finding people coming to you? You've got the Curio, the LXR, and Tapestry. People come to you and go, right, fine, I want to join the family, I want to be part of the scale-up. Is that part of what you're seeing?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We're currently, just to give you an idea, operate just over 100 hotels in Middle East and Africa. We have 145 hotels, 143 hotels in the pipeline, but we have seen conversion demand going up, so owners want to join because they want to drive performance, they want to be with one of our big brands, because, you know, we can show them that it works, that, you know, if you join us, you have access to our 106 million owners members, we can drive performance, we have a great network, and people will join and convert their businesses.
I'm going to go and find my Honours membership. Quickly, Mark, for you, the pipeline within Accor, how does it look?
Yeah, a very similar story to JJ. We're obviously huge in the Middle East, Africa, 300 hotels, over 60 here. In Dubai, we've got or in the UAE, we have 30 hotels to open in the next 24 months. And as JJ mentioned before, you know, we're in a long-term perspective. People aren't starting to build today. They started to build yesterday, and that's a process you go through to open. As always with Dubai, I never underestimate the location, and those that do are proved wrong every time. Dubai will rebound back better than any other location globally, I would anticipate. And you saw that after 2009, you saw that after SARS, where it took other key destinations globally in the top 10, 36 months plus to rebound back, and Dubai was half of that. And I think that'll return, businesses will return, and these hotels will open, and Dubai will continue its fabulous success story.
Chris, if you and all I want you to do is reopen Al Manzil, actually. That's really, quite frankly, all I'd like you to do. Apart from that, you can get on with everything else, and the address. I'd like to have dinner on the boulevard again. But do you look at quick opportunities? Do you look at opportunities, you and Mohammed?
I mean, obviously, we're not of the same scale as my colleagues here, but I mean, you know, our confidence in both Dubai and UAE is clear. I mean, we're opening 4 hotels under each different brands by the end of this year. So we've got another 4 openings itself this year. We've got a pipeline for a company of our size of about 30 hotels over the next 3 years, and primarily within this sort of region. So we're a homegrown company, and we believe in this destination, and that's clear by both what we're opening, what we're operating, and also what we have as a pipeline.
Jose, I think Jose really has got some of the, to be fair now, you got some of the trophies, yeah? You got a lot of the trophies.
Yes.
So for you, what is the projection? Is it time to pause or push? We'll leave the final line with you.
This is a great time to push, in my view. These times create more liquidity in transactions, a higher volume of transactions. Owners, investors are deciding to buy, sell, or trade their management company. So this is a great time for opportunities. For us, the important thing is what would be the right match for Jumeirah? How does Jumeirah want to go global, and what are the right assets globally to enrich the portfolio? So I believe this is the time for unique opportunities. So we're staying very attentive and chasing a few of them.
Okay, we didn't do too bad. We're in 5 minutes and 8 seconds and 10, counting. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been an honor to be invited. It's great to be part of one of the first virtual and face-to-face conferences. It's a delight to be back, and I thank you all very much for joining us, and to my panel. That is Jose Silva, Chief Executive of the Jumeirah Group. That is Chris Newman, the Chief Operating Officer at Emaar. Pam Wilby, over at the Grosvenor House and Marriott here in Dubai. Mark Willis, Chief Executive for Accor in the Middle East, and Joachim Jan Schliefer. Schliefer? Okay. JJ, we'll leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with me and the panel today.
Thank you.
Not at all. Pleasure.
Thank you so much for that wonderful panel ending. What has been, I'm sure you will agree, a fantastic day helping to restart Dubai. I'd like to thank once again World Trade Center for making this possible, for all our partners, our speakers, and of course you, the audience. Once again, we would not have been able to make this happen without you. I've seen most of you are departing, but if you can go in your color bands from the back of the room first, just to adhere to our safety policy, that would be amazing. Thank you all once again. We hope to see you back here really soon.